Marine reacts to a mock battle between the Gurkhas and the United States Marine Corps by Foxtrot Alpha. As always, I'm going to be leaving a link to the original video and channel down in the description below, so go ahead and make sure that you check them out. I'm not going to talk too much about them. We've seen the Gurkhas a little while back. We know about the U.S. Marines. I've been talking about them a lot lately, and obviously my bet is that the Marines are going to win. I mean, you never know though. There's always a bunch of variables. You got terrain. I don't specifically know exactly the type of weaponry or equipment that the Gurkhas would usually take. I assumed it would be somewhat similar, just different versions, but I'm not going to talk too much more. Let's go ahead and get to the actual video. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Hit that notification bell right there, so you get notified every time I do upload. Sometimes I'll play twice a day. Now I'm working on them whenever I can and releasing them at some point the next day. That way you at least have one video to watch at your leisure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see who would win a mock battle between the Gurkhas and the United States Marine Corps.
They're Marines. Friendlies up front! Friendlies up front! No, right here. Orientate that way.
Okay, so in that first little shot, he had BFA, mentioned friendlies, obviously to avoid friendly fire. This looks like a 240 right here.
Here come, hey, there he is. You got eyes on? Yeah, hey, they're close. Yeah, hey, you got eyes on fire. McCarthy, spot. Clear.
See, that's another thing too. I don't know if too many people know this. I mean, probably only unless you've been in the military. But like when you see people shooting right in the movies or just shows and everything, they usually hold I mean, at least in my experience, I've seen them hold the trigger down and they're just shooting nonstop. There's actually sustain, cyclic, and rapid, I believe. Yeah, I think those were the three that are the types of firing that you would do. And for example, especially with the 240, you're going to be mostly shooting in bursts. I mean, unless for some reason there's a situation called shit, I forgot what the exact name for it was, or runaway gun. That's when the rounds, like, you've stopped shooting but the rounds are still getting fed and the gun is still going off. So they call it riding the lightning, right? So you just gotta run into the rounds go out. I've also heard them breaking the link, but the reason that's not, I mean, in cyclic, at least in my experience, we didn't really do it too much. That's because the barrel can actually overheat, and if the barrel overheats, obviously it's going to get melted, right? And then not really be of much use, which is why machine gunners typically carry, or not typically, they always have an A-bag with the, I can't remember exactly what was in it. All I know is that it had a second barrel in there. And then that's also why you have an A-gunner, which is supposed to help you get that barrel in as soon as you got to do a barrel switch, which I did one time, and I'm really glad that I didn't mess it up.
Right here. Steve following. Friendlies in front.
Oh, look at that nice little finger discipline right there. Okay. Yeah, we had this shit. I mean, for us, it was more understandable to have these goggles on, just because we had we rode in Ospreys, and whenever they would land, it's kicking up a shitload of dirt, and this is just an extra little protection in case you don't want to wear your safety glasses, or eye pro, I mean. And yep, I had mine exactly a little dummy corded like this so they didn't fall off. We had our cat eyes, I believe this little rope was called, if I remember correctly. And you got your mount right here to attach your NVGs. It doesn't seem like there's going to be much talking to this. It might just be like the actual battle, and someone just recorded it. So I'm going to try to Pec 15, seems. I can't really tell because I can't. No, wait, this is the M16 because the buttstock is not adjustable. And as far as I remember, it was only the M4s that had that. Also the M27s. And BFA, we would typically have our black tape wrapped around it so that there's like a little ring at the tip, and it prevents it from making noise. This guy doesn't have a piece of black tape over his RCO right here, which is essentially. So also, this video seems like it's going to be more knowledge based, but we would put a little tape on top of the RCO right here, and then, I mean, not covering the whole thing, just leaving like a little sliver of it so that way it attracting the sunlight that is supposed to go in it, and then make the reticle and the inside either become brighter or just be the right amount of brightness. If there's no tape up there, it's going to be extremely bright. If you tape over the whole thing, the reticle inside is going to look very dark. All right. Oh, damn, there might be a lot more pausing than this that I thought. It's 203. I believe I showed a picture of it a couple times already in the past. Looks like he's got side sappies in here. Is that? If these, yeah, because these are the little pouch and the little handles, or like the little handles in them that help keep it in place. But it looks like it's about to fall out. Yeah, man, that's one of the worst. Like doing that type of shit, like where you're just literally providing security. It's more difficult, in my opinion, to do it at night, just because, especially if you're there for a long time. I believe I mentioned it in a video just recently, actually. It was during a field op that was called McCree. It was a week and a half field op, and we're at night and we're moving for 2 nights in a row. We're just consistently moving, and then we're sitting down we're sitting down for about 20 to 30 minutes at a time. I never really knew the reason. I'm assuming we're just assuming a defensive posture. And then literally team leaders, even myself, would kind of like do this little dozing off thing, right? Because you're still supposed to try to keep security in those situations. And look, because he's got an M4 right here. You see more of that tape. You see he's got a... Typically, you only saw these on deployment, in my experience. Got your 152. This looks like a small over here. So it's probably an assault bin. No, that is an assault bin. What am I talking about?
Roger, we've got eyes on somebody not United States Marines. Gulf 3 break.
Hey,
There's an assault team.
We got the right side. Let's go.
Come right to your position now.
Got your lieutenant right here. Looks like a RSO. I wonder what unit this is. And looks like you got your little A bag right here for the machine gun. You got these little. I know I'll pause it and it looks kind of blurry, but there's looks like these are sandbags because they got the white little stringy thing.
Contact back! Contact left! Go, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up! This way, this way! Here! Hey, Cole, grab everything, let's go! Yeah.
I don't know if I heard it right, but I heard contact left, and then that was pretty much it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they did say it, but like, what would be said is also an ADIREC. It's going to be an alert, direction, description, range, assignment, control. So alert, contact, direction. Where is it coming from? Description. Is it a squad size element? Is it a fire team element? Was it alert, direction, description, range? I'm going to say, is it 300 meters? You would say 300 meters. And then assignment. Assign like 1 every 2, 1 every 3, which is essentially 1 every 3 seconds. You're going to shoot 1 time every 3 seconds. So that way there's always a consistent volley of rounds going down range, but you're also not just wasting your ammo, right? And controlling the situation.
Swing it around. Here, swing it around.
Sergeant! Donald! What? Ready? Let's go. Let's go, let's go. Pick up the move.
He looks like he's grabbing it by the handle, and I mean, typically in the front, right when you're about to do a barrel change, there's this little button that the gunner smacks, and then the A gunner grabs, pulls up, pulls out, or pulls forward, and then takes it off. And I forgot which way you're supposed to set it down, so that way the little or the barrel doesn't move in a certain way, so that way when you had to switch it again, you can just go straight in and then smack it to the right. And it looks like he's handling it from that handle. And I was told by a machine gunner who was the super senior, if I ever did that, he was going to punch me in the face. And he was a big dude. Yeah, I mean, exciting to see what their plan is going to be.
Keep on fighting. Okay, stop. Okay, fire. Dismounted to the diggers.
Oh shit, they're using iron sights, man. Rocking the old school.
Okay, keep on fighting. Okay, one, two.
And they've got eyes on vehicle.
Also, real quick, the reason why he probably racked the handle back again. Shit, what would you call it? It's when you're shooting, but then all of a sudden the gun stops. And I'm not sure if that didn't look like a 240 to me. But then again, in any case, for example, on the 240, right? If you're shooting it and all of a sudden it stops, and then but you see that there's still rounds connected to it. What was it called? Slingshot the charging handle back, and then it's gonna eject that round, and then should keep shooting, and then you just do that every time. And then I believe it was after the third time, there's a process of something that you have to do as far as checking the gun, if I remember correctly, but it's not coming to me at this moment.
And a number of dismounts. My intent is to prosecute that with OS.
This gear right here specifically, and this right here, I could be wrong, but this looks like a eye test gear, I think it was called, which is essentially an insane version of laser tag, essentially.
Yeah, fire.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is, because you can see the little they have it on their Kevlar as well.
Okay. Down!
Never mind, that does look like a 240 because the little tail right here. So they don't wear eye pro, or at least most of them aren't. They do wear ear pro. I like the little camo on the Kevlar as well. It's pretty cool. Looks like a trainer AT4.
Get down! Okay, go for him. It's a friendly down there. Okay. I get out here.
Bro, just looking at them run is bringing back old memories of just running with fucking gear, man. Hold on. Spider. I'm not saying anything bad about the Gurkhas and everything, but when you're doing like a planning, fucking 5-paragraph order, all that jazz. Ugh. I forgot about all the logistics about it as far as making a plan. Oh, Shmiek, if y'all remember that. But so essentially, you want to create a plan as far as the movement to where if you're gonna do a lot of running, or you're gonna have to cover a long distance, you want to do it where there's some form of cover or at least some kind of camouflage in the way so that you don't get seen. Because other than that, you're probably going to be doing a lot more sprinting, kind of like what they're doing right now, and then they stop, and then they go again, and then they stop. And now doing that with gear really plays a big role. And then as soon as you have to shoot, you kind of got to control yourself as far as your breathing goes, because you're huffing and puffing, and when you're huffing and puffing, you know, holding a rifle, or in this case, it looks like they're carrying the 240. It's going to be a lot more difficult to actually shoot accurately.
Huh? Get down! Contact, bro! Right body! Okay, got it! Shoot! No fire, friendly over. You want to do it?
I really wish, I have the subtitles on, but it's not translating yet. I really wish I knew what they were saying so I can get an idea of what's going on through their heads. But as you can see here, they have the machine gunners farther back, mainly because there's also times where they'll run with, say in our case, the 11s, like say for example going through an urban environment, like doing some mount training, and which funny story, I actually had somebody clearing rooms with the 240. So imagine doing that shit. But typically it would be mortars. They're gonna send mortars downrange to be able to provide a little bit of suppression, help the machine gunners get in place. Once they get in place, they're gonna provide suppression for the 11s or your basic run, essentially, to get even closer. And then after that, we're kind of providing somewhat of our own fire, but then the machine gunners, but then also going to be moving, or depending on what the situation is. That looks like a 249. Look at that, dude. This shit phased out, as far as I know now, from the Marine Corps, and got switched out for the M27 IAR, which I heard from my buddy's girl is that apparently they've already made the full transition to that rifle. I'm not too sure though, but yeah, this gun 249 for us. No matter what you do it, no matter how good you cleaned it, it always just seemed to jam.
On the head. 3 section.
Okay, you do not. Unless they just do it a different way. With that AT4 trainer, it seems. If you're gonna shoot it, you're gonna shoot it, if I remember correctly, off to the side. So my legs would be going 90. So my legs are going this way, but the back end of that AT4 is going directly behind, or not behind me, but backwards and out of the way from my legs, because it's gonna have a backblast of 90 degrees by 60 meters. And so essentially think of it throwing hot ass air behind you, which is why typically when you shoot it as well, and also for that part about your legs being off to the side about 90 degrees, That's mainly just that's only if you're on the ground. So that way it's not gonna hit your legs. And if you're doing it from the kneeling, your guys are gonna increase their suppressive fire so to give you a chance to actually be able to move up to the hot pause, cold pause. It's all coming back. And then you're gonna look. If you don't have someone calling it out for you, you're gonna look behind you on each side. You're gonna say back blast area all clear. And then as soon as you push it, you're gonna say rocket.
Yeah, enemy identify, enemy identify. Keep on suppressing.
You saw there kind of how they did a little bit of talking guns. So one is shooting, stop shooting, the next one starts shooting, and then back and forth. And then they just keep doing that, so there's a constant fire going down. And to the enemy, it would always seem like there's just have so many guns that they're just shooting at them. But in reality, it's only two.
Down. 4. That's the bump. Armor check. I missed that. Right, okay. Where's the fucking boss?
Get out! Let's go! Hey, we have this covered. Fucking.
Wait, I think it just transition to the army?
It's armor check. Humvees are out.
What happened to the Marines? Huh. Okay, well, I mean, it looks like it just switched.
Kill to the right, kill to the right. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
You were like shot like 10, 15 minutes ago.
Okay, I was just making sure that the buzzing sound wasn't coming from my headphones. It's just from the actual video. Oh, is that Estonia? That's like an Estonian flag. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen them, Estonian Reacts. It's a great channel. So I don't know where the Gurkha versus U.S. Marines now is kind of going for, or going at. But it saw that they were doing a little bit of buddy rushing, right? So you're shooting, your buddy moves, he starts shooting, then you move, so on and so forth. So you can gain ground and have consistent fire going down range. Now, you don't even have to really communicate at that point. As soon as you hear him start shooting, you go. And then also, you can talk to your buddy if you say, hey, next bound, shift right. Because maybe you might be accidentally going into his line of fire, right? And it ends up getting trickier when you start including a fire team, a squad, because now you got more people. And sometimes people are going to be bunched up, depending on the terrain. So it gets definitely very tricky. And, you just got to be safe. I had a couple of times where a buddy of mine, it was at night, so it was very difficult. I had the moon on one side, so whenever I looked to my right, it was blurry as shit with the MVGs. And my buddy kept on shifting right in front of me, so I tell him, hey, shift left, next bound. He says, Roger. I bound next time, He goes, and then the next one after that he comes right back where he was. And I'm telling him to keep shifting left. And apparently the whole time at the end, the guy on his left was telling him the same thing. Shift right, shift left. Because the terrain was kind of funneling us in. And there was 2 times where if I had just shot thinking like, hey, this is my turn to shoot, I probably would have shot him. So I'm really glad that I put my weapon on safe and put my muzzle down in the dirt. Or not in the dirt, but facing the dirt. And PSO, who was right behind me, ended up telling me, you know what, Martinez? You're not as dumb as you look. I was like, oh, thank you, Staff Sergeant. So. And also, one more thing. With those rushes, keep them very short. No, we called it Medal of Honor runs. Like, you're not going to run 50 meters and then have your buddy run another 50 meters, right? Because then you're just going to get tired and run out of ammo. And you might have to reload if you end up running out of ammo, which, if you're reloading, make sure that you call that out too.
One squad is dead. Okay, can you proceed?
Get all of our manpower and form one body of men to know each other. Oh, ready?
Vänta där! Забратut! Концентрējies uz rietumu pusi! Zabratut!
Okay, I don't know what's going on at this point. I just know there's a lot of shooting, and it even looks like the terrain is changing. So I'm assuming this is just kind of a mashup. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it's because I saw right here, British Army Royal Gurkha rifles versus the U.S. Marines. But then it also says mock battle between U.S. Marine and allies. But I've only seen them once. I've only seen the Marines once. And then I feel like there's a bunch of other ones.
Kas tur ir? Tur var pāriet pāri.
It's a steak. It's a funny steak. I think too.
You guys, after the time boss nogi, arco session se push back huncha.
I don't know why he has that foliage back there. So yeah, I may have misread the title as far as what the video itself is supposed to be about, but hey, still cool. I mean, you get to see tactics from allies, which is always a good thing.
started in 1815, and that was when the British were in India. And as part of the expansion, we started to fight a war against Nepal in the north of India. What resulted was a series of battles against a number of different principalities, most notably the Gurkha. And through mutual respect really on the battlefield, what came to be was a sort of a stalemate and a mutual respect, and the Nepalese people agreed to serve in the British Army at that point. And then 200 years of history with Gurkhas committed to every major conflict that the British Crown has been committed to since then.
Joined in 2006, and then I started. Actually, I always wanted to be in the military, and then my dad and grandfather were also a British soldier, so, and I was inspired by them, and then I decided to join. Why not? I joined the army. So I decided to join the British Army and tried it, and I got into the army. Like, if you really want to earn the knife, you need to be in the Gurkhas, because that knife will give you a pride, exactly like the commandos and the Marines. They get a dagger once they're in the Marines. So that is that's why that knife is very important to us. It represents who we are and where we are from, because no one in the world has that unique kind of knife. And it's a great history. Like there must be very few, like, or maybe none, other people like with the British, like, and working together for such a long period of time. So it makes us really proud. Like, we are still loyal to the Queen.
We went out and tried to locate their defense.
I really wish I saw more of you though. Man, I was trying to see a battle, but you know, I misread the title.
And destroy or remove them. We're learning from each other. We're feeding off the different responses that you don't normally get when you're working with your own nation.
Oh god, I just saw that dude before this scene had the dump pouch. It looked like on his war belt directly behind him. You know how flexible you gotta be able to, you know, quickly go back there? I always had mine on my left, so pull the mag out, put my hand down. Like, this moment I put my hand down, it's my hands are really going inside there, and then I just let go. And all these little, I think that's more of a movie thing when you have that dump pouch in the back, but you know, to each their own as far as the way they want to set up their gear.
It's been around for a long time. It's like kind of a cornerstone of like American presence in Europe, and they're our biggest ally. So I think us being here participating, Marines in particular, shows kind of that we're still committed to NATO and we're still committed to our allies over here.
Hey, guns up!
Actually coming out and experiencing BSurf, experiencing working with other forces, they're starting to see that big picture piece and the importance the Marine Corps comes out and works with these other forces. I think all the Marines are seeing that by actually being here. It's a great experience for them.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. So, whole misread in the title. Essentially, I thought it was just going to be Gurkhas versus Marines. We're going to see some tactics being shown, which we did. But for the allies that I couldn't understand, I mean, obviously, I don't know what they're saying, so I can't really put too much. I can only really go based off of what I've seen. I did see quite a bit of bunching up a lot of times, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that's for a good reason. But the main reason why, say for the Marine Corps, we don't end up bunching up, or we try our best not to bunch up. I mean, sometimes the scenario might dictate it, is that, you know, you lob a grenade and then that's it. A whole bunch of people dead. But other than that, I saw a lot of running. And obviously I didn't know how far that their enemy, enemy for these mock battles, how far they were or not, or if they were behind cover, or they were drawing fire somewhere else. But there was a lot of just constant running and then stopping, then running, kind of long distances, not really short ones. So you don't, at least in my experience, you're not trying to, especially in an environment where there's no buildings or enough mountains to where you can actually get behind, especially if you're in a more somewhat flat area, you kind of want to stay low as possible. Other than that, I don't really see anything else too much more I could have been able to comment on. I will say though, I'd be curious to kind of see how a lot of these things would go at night, and just see how they do things. I mean, because obviously the night's gonna bring a lot more obstacles, as far as having the MGs, and also that noise travels a lot farther at night as well. So it's not gonna be or it'd be a little more difficult to actually sneak up on someone. Other than that, I can't really think of anything else, so that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, it really does help me a lot. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like it, it helps me for the channel. If you're curious to see what's coming up next, in the description down below, you're gonna see a list of about 5 videos. From top to bottom, it's gonna be how I view them. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.